Good evening. Today, we're going to talk about how to develop the creative mindset for mad profits. We live in a world where you don't have to have a product, you don't have to have a service, but if you're very creative, you can make money. Hey, this is Glendon Cameron, founder of Hustlers Kung Fu University, where your real financial education begins. We talk about starting businesses. We talk about fixing your credit. We talk about making money, hustling, and developing generational wealth. All of that and more. I got a question for those of you out there. How many of you consider yourself to be a creative person? And what do you think a creative person looks like? Seriously, I want to know. Because when you talk about creativity, everyone tends to move toward the artist, the musical artist, the hippie, the person who smokes blunts to get in their creative space. How many of you feel that that is the level of creativity or creative, or that's what you need to do? I'll share something real personal with you. As a kid, I used to have crazy drawing skills, probably still there if I chose to develop them. I choose to express myself artistically through writing, and now we're messing around with t-shirt design. I did not want to be a creative. I used to call them S&S, suicidal and substance abusers, because when you get into that madness of being so creative that no one understands you, it could be a lonely place. Now, what I have managed to do is to remain creative, yet analytical. In my writing group, they used to call me the odd one. It's like, you write, but you're still in this regular world. And then the people who were very analytical were like, they call it the foo-foo stuff, the woo-woo, the mindset, and all this other stuff. And as science has shown and will continue to show, that creativity is a process. It is not something that is woo-woo-ish. It's not something that you have to go out and get a witch doctor and have some chakras around and have your stones, and it is none of that. You know, you have people who are like that, who tend to be creative, but it's really a process. So one of the first steps that you need to take if you want to be more creative is to exercise your creative mind. All children are extremely creative. And as they go through the education system, it gets drummed out of them. So it is already in you to be creative. You already have the steps. You already have the process. It's just got to waken it up. And with my first video about mindset, because this will be a playlist, I talked about the things that you need to do. One of the things that you should do, in my opinion, there's a lot of debate, is you should cut your video game playing time drastically. Because what happens when you play video games, you rewire your brain. And if you want to be super creative from a originator, designer, inventor standpoint versus being creative in the game, you got to let that go. You just got to. And part of letting that go means if you know, because there's some people who they get caught up in the game, they'll play it all day long. And in my opinion, if you're playing video games all day long, you're running from something. I mean, I like sex. I cannot have sex all day long. I like drinking. I cannot drink all day long. I like eating. I cannot eat all day long. So if you're just completely immersed, I know people are like, no, I can play those games, man. So what if I live in my father's basement? So what if I have no money? So what if I have no romantic prospects. So what if every chick who finds out about that my vapid video game obsession, she dumps me or she gets rid of me or she pulls back? I mean, there's this, just in my opinion, spending that much time playing video games, being online, you are messing yourself up from the real creativity that you can be part of you that you can use to make money. Now, I'm going to give you some steps. Number one, to be creative. Every morning, you need to wake up early if you have to, 30 minutes an hour, and come up with 5 to 10 new ways to make money. Every morning, you wake up, you pull out your tablet, get your pen, and you go at the top, what can I do to make money? First few days is going to be easy. Then it's going to get tricky. It's going to get real tricky around, let's say you start this on Monday. It's going to get tricky around Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. It's like, whoa. And you got to force yourself. Now, some of the other stuff that you can do, and I'm about to show you this. Actually, I'm going to show you a few books here. Now, these are not immediate gratification. There it is. So that is called super learning. Now, it will give you some different things that you can delve into. Mnemonics, which is a system that you can increase your memory. Now, this book mentions, let's see, let me get in here, Baroque. Music. There it is. Now, this has been scientifically proven, and this is why I started listening to classical music. It is not all classical music, but it is a certain type of classical music. You can listen to it. It will actually increase your powers of concentration. I'll tell you a little secret that I had going on. When I used to drive for Uber, I had satellite radio, and I would leave the radio on classical music. And I noticed that people who were kind of hyped when they got in the vehicle, they calmed down. And I remember there was these 3 chicks in the back who had this discussion. And it was like, I really think I like this music. I don't think I would like classical music. And they were just they got very deep with it. And what happened was when they would play Baroque pieces of music, it would alter people's moods and behavior. And they were completely unaware of it. They didn't even know. I'm just sitting there cracking up. Like, well, that's Baroque music. And once again, you can jump into it. You can study it. But this will help you. Now, I know you're like, hey, Glendon, how does this help me make money? And it helps you make money because once you become the master of super learning, once you get into Baroque music, you increase your powers of concentration. Most people's attention span is shot. If you can focus on a few tasks for 4 to 6 hours a day, you would literally quadruple your income. Let me say that again. If you can focus on a few tasks per day, you will literally quadruple your income. This is one of the reasons, like I said in the earlier video, you got to get off Facebook. What happens is, and it's so insidious, you will go on Facebook and have an intention of being there for a minute. And the next thing you know, 2 to 3 hours are gone. Then this creates this another nasty chain of events. Very few people, there are some people who can multitask. It's called split concepts, where they could literally write with this hand and write with this hand at the same time. There are people who can do that, and they're gifted, because most of us can't. Most of us, what we do is switch attention. So you think you're multitasking, all you're doing is switching. You're going like here, 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 here. Now, during those switches, a lot of time is lost. A lot of focus, intention is lost because you're switching. There is an opportunity cost for constantly switching tasks. This is one of the reasons that I only do one thing at a time. I know people like, it seems like I do a lot of stuff, but I only do one thing at a time. And if you can stop switching and start focusing, you will get so much done. It's ridiculous. The more you get done, the more that you learn, the more that you learn, the more that you earn. So every morning, 5 to 10 ideas on how to make money. It will stretch you. Now, the second thing that you need to do is to read poetry. Yeah, I know that was like, whoa, 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 poetry. Yes, read poetry. Get all up in Shakespeare. And old school rap. Some of this new stuff, but I would say from 1990, 89 on back. Also, listen to old songs. 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. There's percussion. There's all this stuff. A lot of this stuff will awaken your creative juices like you would not believe. When I used to write dirty poetry, and I would listen to music. And I found there was a few cuts that I could listen to over and over and over and over and over again and produce from those things. Now, what I'm giving you is the process that I use to do stuff today. And it started in the boarding house. It started with journaling. It started with meditation. Meditation, if you start with meditation and you stick with it for a few months, you will become amazingly creative. When I had a lot of drama in my life and I knew that I had to produce, I was sitting there because I had this thing called Passionate Friday, right? And it was like I would write these erotic pieces and I would send it to a listserv. And I would always wait till the last minute. And it was this Thursday night. It was 10:30. It was nothing. And I was like, I'll just meditate. Meditated for 30 minutes. Start whipping it out. Start whipping it out. So meditation for me is a way to unclog your mind. It's a way for you to become extremely creative. And also, another thing to help you become creative, play games, puzzles. How many of you go to Cracker Barrel and you pull out that little peg game? I was there recently and I solved it, and we're going to talk about moods, and we're going to talk about moods and emotional states. I was in a very, very relaxed emotional state. I pulled it out, solved it, literally 30 seconds. Now there's points when I get agitated, I can't solve it. Even though I've solved this game thousands of times before, when I used to work for LabCorp, there was this guy, Danny, and his pharmacist. We used to play the game. We used to speed to solve it because there's many different ways you can solve it. And it's like playing chess. You have to plan your moves. You have to be 3 to 5 moves ahead, because if you go and pull out the pegs and you do not forecast your moves, you're going to pull out too many and you're going to get stuck. But all these little games, which will challenge you, they will challenge you because, one, most of these things are not beyond the intellect of the average person, but they are beyond the patience level of the average person. That's when it gets to be kind of crazy. That's when it gets to be insane. That's when people really struggle. And it's sad. So let's see. What do we got going on in here? How long have I gone on? Awesome. I'm right where I need to be. What's up, Selena, T.M. Henderson, Johnny, Honey Bunny, Ganja, Juan, Rudy, Golene, let's see, what's going on, Richard? I heard that there was a shortage at the post office. Kindle. Well, dear Top. It's real. What's up, regular web guy? What's up, Everett? Gangster. One gamer who streamed complained about ex-girlfriends that get mad at him for spending most of his time playing video games. What's up, Leroy? Good for you, Everett. Appreciate it. What's up, Christian? Lonerix. Good deal, Ganja. Danielle, what's up? Emperor, El Bay, the Wild Jones Report. Rock music does not do it. It has to be Baroque music or rap or something. Yep, very deep in thought. It's totally different to the day. No, blues will not work. Good for you, Derek. Thank you, Steve Wilson, for the super chat. Yeah, we're going to go a little deeper because I have people like, Glendon, what do you do to make money? Teach me in 5 minutes. And I'm like, I can't. It's a process. So over on this, sure thing, Steve, on this mindset playlist, because I'm going to put more stuff on it. Because essentially, I know that there are some topics that most people just don't really care about. And this is one of them. And I think that's a misnomer because I will give you, like with the new channel, because I already see that that's going to explode. Creatively, I could do a lot with that channel. And creatively, I can explain to you a lot of things that will make you money, but they're not going to make you, it's not going to be a direct response. I do this action and money instantly happens. It ain't nothing like that. But the payoff is so huge, it's ridiculous because let's say you spent 6 months learning how to meditate and you nail it down. And then because you have cleared your mind and you have meditation will give you the ability to focus like you would not believe. That move alone could triple your income. And because it's not a linear path, like I do action A plus action B equals C for cash. It does not work like that. And that's why a lot of people have a problem with it because they're like, I need to make that money now. And the more that you're like that, the less money you will make. And that's the sadness of it all because this new tax bill that's happening, it actually helps me. It reduces my corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. That helps me. Does it help you? No. If you have a job, it doesn't help you. Also, there's going to be some other little ganks in here and some nasty surprises as this thing rolls out. I am thinking about once they get it all reckoned, printing it up and just going over it online. But I don't really worry about that stuff because my thing that helps me, and it's always helped me, is make more money. And I say that and people are like, yeah. I know what you mean, Glenn. Yeah, you got to make more money. And if you answer like that, no, you don't know what I mean. Because making more money is a mindset that it becomes a lifestyle. It really does. You have people who like Grant Cardone who are obsessed with making money. It is in his DNA. He can't do it any other way. I am not like Grant. I have a strong desire, but I don't have an obsession because, like today, like I got like really really sick my last day in London. And essentially, I take medicine and I sleep all day. That's pretty much what's been going on for the last 8 9 days. So if I was obsessed, I would be like, I'm not going to take this medicine. I'm going to keep working. And I get sicker and sicker and sicker, and my health would go down the tubes. So I'm not obsessed at all. I realized that, you know what? We're going to start this new program. We're going to probably try to do 2 streams a day, 4 days a week, and give Patty and Valencia orders, and I'm sleeping. So if I was obsessed about money, that would not be happening. And part of this obsession is I think people are trying to fill holes with money and things that can't be filled. They just can't. What's wrong with rock? Well, a lot of rock is too high energy. There's a lot of rap, there's a lot of Baroque music that's scientific and it's much slower. Rock's just obviously not going to do it. Some jazz is good. My friends get nervous when they come by my house and hear smooth jazz. That's funny. What's up, Archangel? I just put it on classical music. I can't even tell you. I mean, this was like 2013, I think. 2013, so it was a while ago. But I just picked some of the classical channels and I let it go. Because, one, you never, because like I ride with Uber and I'll get in the car and some people have gangster rap blasting, which is just highly inappropriate because I actually asked one dude, I was like, you turn that shit off. I mean, seriously. Oh, definitely. I told the person to put 200 more on the loan to get rid of it. She got mad at me and said, who has an extra two? That's a mindset. It is a mindset. The average person, unless they are just really poor, has anywhere from $1,000 to about $30,000 worth of useless stuff laying around their house. There's a lot of money out there. Gary Vee did the reseller challenge, and I stayed away from it because I've talked about resale for years and stuff. But seriously, the average person has that much stuff around there. I probably sold in used camera equipment that I wasn't using, iPads and stuff, probably close to 30 grand this year on eBay, here and there. Because I have a philosophy that I don't keep stuff in my life I don't need. So I got 2 Sony cameras. I got this camera. I got all kinds of stuff. And you know what? This is wild. I don't know. Part of me is thinking that I may need to turn my phones off because of these microphones. You ever notice how the microphones on your phones are like super sensitive and you'll start talking and I guess you'll say the keyword or the target word and that sucker comes on and starts doing stuff? It's interesting because I'm in a weird place where I am not, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get Google Home or Echo and stuff because they're always listening. And if you know about technology, it is nothing for a big supercomputer to be listening and recording every word of your conversation. It ain't nothing with big data. It ain't nothing. And I'm just like, how does this hold up for the future? But we're going off on another tangent. Rock is solid. Rock does not work. You know what? Do this. Go to Baroque music and research it for yourself. Because you just like, it's got to be rock. No, it doesn't. Rockstone, thank you, The Gift of Hard Times, Betrayals of Trials. Watch Percy Julian, The Forgotten Chemist biography on November. I'm stripped down to the essentials for 5 months. I will tell you something that was a positive byproduct of my time in the boarding house. And that's something you just said, Rockstone. I got stripped down to the essentials: place to stay, food, transportation. I mean, my life was very, very basic. And it was hard because I came thrusted out of a regular life into this life of complete and utter lack. And it seriously messed up my mind. Seriously did. Jasmine, all I listened to when I was pregnant and classical was classical and meditation music. Question, how's your kid? Because I have a theory, and this is just an observation, that women who are pregnant who take an intentional and active role with their child pre-birth, these kids come out smarter. I've seen it over and over and over again where this one chick I used to work with, she used to put headphones on her belly, right? And this kid who is just so precocious, early vocabulary skills, just was so much further ahead. And I really think that music had a lot to do with it. We do an annual yard sale for stuff we don't use for 2 years. All right, this is for Rakasaka. You're going to have to come out of what you like. When I started listening to Baroque and classical music, I didn't like it. But I read this book, Super Learning, and I invested in the music. I went to Barnes and Nobles, got it. And it was the benefit. So this is something else too. A lot of you are going to have to get away from what you like. Because I was listening to this guy today, was talking about, he has a school and it was wedding people with their passions and doing stuff what they like. That's all well and good. But you know what? Someone's still got to pick up crap. Someone's still got to pick diapers out of the landfill. There's a lot of things that people, quote, don't like, but the benefit is amazing. So you're going to have to stretch yourself and kind of get out of that, because if you are open to learning new stuff, prime example, YouTube. I hated YouTube when I first started. I hated YouTube for 6 months. Love the results. It just felt weird. It felt awkward. I mean, you can go straight to my channel page and look at my early videos, and I sound like a runaway slave. This is Glendon Cameron. I didn't like it for 6 months. You're going to have to challenge yourself and get out of what you like, and you may find out that the benefits and results are so great that you'll start liking that stuff. Steve Jobs, he didn't like Apple computers in the beginning. He hated that stuff. But when they started making that money, when they started getting those results, oh, he loved that stuff. He even, had all these fancy graduation speeches, but in the beginning, he didn't like it. Glendon, my friend mentioned eating a biscuit from Hardee's earlier today, and all of a sudden Hardee's biscuits ad. Oh, that's targeting. For those of you who don't know, targeting comes from your instant messaging now. Oh, yeah. If someone sends you a message and there's a certain brand that's mentioned in there, it's going to start popping up on your stuff and other people. Retargeting is going to be bananas. Minority Report. That's where we're heading. You're going to be walking down the mall, retina regular. Oh, this is Glendon Cameron. He likes this, and they're going to start referring it to me. All right, Sean. Johnny, so some people who go to prison who are broke down to the essentials actually do more thinking. No, that's why a lot of, so a perfect example of that is you have this kid who really hasn't shown any promise. They go to jail for something they didn't do, and then they become a jailhouse attorney, and they get to the point where they're better than formerly educated attorneys because they have time to focus. So you'd be 100% on that. One of the things about the rock is it doesn't produce the results that Baroque music does. It doesn't produce the results that jazz music does. It doesn't produce the results that classic music. I mean, you can listen to it, you're just not going to get those results. Freddie pay-per-view, I will suggest whatever I want to on my channel. You don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. True Jobs was a big nerd and didn't feel that the Mac was a real computer. I mean, and that's something else too. If there's one category of books that I recommend for you to read is biographies. There is and this kind of goes with attention or lack of attention. Many people take a soundbite or a snippet of a person or a thing, and they fill in all those spaces with erroneous or alternative facts. If you read biographies and see how these people really lived, it would blow your mind. It would blow your mind. Gordon Parks, who is, let's do this because this would be really good to jump into. Gordon Parks, because if you don't know who that is, he's done amazing photography. And he was the first African-American photographer for Time magazine. Now, this is something else, too. Gordon was, I believe, 93 years old when he died. And this is something else about creativity. If you get into a creative pursuit, I've just seen so many of these folks living longer and longer because it's a mental thing, and you don't have to have the health of a young body to go deep or to be really profound in this stuff. But if you look at Gordon, he was married. Yeah, he was 93 when he died. He was married 3 times, and you get into it. One of his wives was Japanese. And you start to, I'm not going to get into too much of this, but when you start reading biologies, you will see that so many people lived very differently than what we passively assume that they lived. And it becomes very, very interesting. So I suggest you find some people you like, check them out. Hey, Gordon Parks. There's a lot of different and wonderful people out there that you think they lived one way, but they really lived another way. And if you read a book about them, it would just open up so many things. So Gordon Parks is like one of them. 2.5 years, Christian. Talk radio is, I believe, to be corrosive. I used to listen to talk radio, and early talk radio, I think, was good. Neil Bortz. If it was bad, Neil Bortz, Hannity, even Rush Limbaugh, if it was bad, they were against it. And then when they figured out there was so much money in becoming a GOP talking head, they kind of lost their way, in my opinion. But I really don't listen to talk radio because a lot of talk radio is very toxic. "25 pull-ups per hour, Rockstone, you're going hard." Yes, Johnny, some do. They're scanning your retinas, they're scanning your face. There are no best books to read about becoming a starting entrepreneur. The best thing to do is to pick something and start. Boarding house is a place that I lived. Essentially, you know what? Let's go to an educational moment. Because boarding houses actually are making a comeback. Boarding house is a bunch of people who don't know each other, who live together in a house. Oh, this is interesting. Let's go to Wikipedia. And no, we did not want. Let's see what they put out. Essentially, it's a big old house that a bunch of people who are not related live in for at least a week, up to months to years. That's a boarding house. What's up, Zola? Let's see. All right, Freddie. I was just saying. Three pistols. People are also just fascinating, and it's interesting to see where people come from. True. Yes, it does. Oh, Reginald Lewis, why a white guy should have all the fun. I read that book. I don't know if I read his biography, but that dude was insane. In a good way, though. So that's one of the things. But just some tips on becoming more creative, because we have people who want to make money. And I understand you want to make money as fast as possible. I get that. But if you look at developing a craft, developing a certain apprenticeship, you're going to make more money, and it's going to be easier versus just doing this. Because, like, okay, this channel, now I started another channel, and this channel is going to remain the same. I'm going to continue to talk about starting business. This content will not change. Part of that is the way that YouTube operates now. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, whatever you start talking about, you need to stick to that topic. There's so much video inventory that you're having a catch-all type channel that could hurt you if you don't execute that correctly. Miss Dim Brown, voluntarily is a tricky word, because usually people end up in these situations because they don't have no money. It is, in my opinion, a few steps from above being homeless. So not something that, you want. Well, I was in London, right? I was talking to one of the staff at the hotel, and she has 5 roommates. London is so expensive. She pays $900 a month for a room, and she has 5 roommates. So that's like 6 G's a month for that spot. Short chase. Should I keep all my two? I mean, wherever you feel is safe. Wherever you feel is safe, man. I personally don't think banks are bad. I just don't. I really don't. But that is a funny question. I think you should keep your attitude money close to where you can get to it when you need it. All right, so what I'm going to do in this part of the section is, let's go here. All right, for those of you who need a little help, good Lord, it's fast, and well, I spoke too soon. All right, so for your mindset and creativity, I have this bundle called the Superior Mindset Bundle. I'm not going to read through all that stuff, but if you want to change your mindset, and I put 30 Days to 2,500, the original course, in there. I'm going to raise the price tomorrow, so if you don't want that, if you want to get in all of this, it's cool, because this gets to be in disruptive mating. Also will stroke your creativity, and the Hustler's Mindset, Prepare Your Mind for Success will. Plus, I'm going to put a special course here later, probably next year. So if you want to increase your creativity, want to get your mindset correct, this is it. For those of you with the credit issues, it's the Super Credit Bundle, and this is where I'll be talking about cryptocurrency. Not started it yet, but I will. It's going to take me probably a year to build that out. repairing, this is if your credit is really tore up. This is if your credit is good to great and you want to make it better. And we're going to talk about disruptive money and alternative cash. It's going to get a little wild. And for those of you who want to start a business from scratch and get this nice hoodie, you can get this. All these links are below the video for your learning pleasure. So you should be able to get on that. Okay. So we will see that. All right. So where are we with this? Cool. This one's not going to be as long as the one earlier. So there you have it. You have your helpful courses. And for those of you who want to come to the live experience, because this always gets to be interesting. And, I find it interesting, and I'm really glad that I am doing it now. A lot of people say they want to come, but they ain't coming. So this link is below. If you want to be at the live experience, you have until tomorrow to buy in or let Patty know that you are coming. Because after tomorrow, you will not be able to come like next week, because then I got to figure out who's coming, get ready, get set. So if one person shows up, then what I'm going to do is take that person, take whatever business they ideal, and we'll just work on that. Because I'm prepared for one person to show up, because what I have come to understand is that it sounds really good when it's just something that's unattainable. Yeah, I want to come, I want to do this. But when it's like, okay, you can come and we're going to talk about your business, and it gets real, people get scared. They really do. So there it is. All these links are below the video if you need that help. If you want to get this one, that's funny, the Superior Mindset Bundle, go ahead and you get all these courses before the price goes up tomorrow. So with that, I will see you good people later. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment when this video renders. And I will check you guys out later.